All right, all right. Greetings. All right. Now live. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. I'm back. I haven't forgot about you guys. The title of this video is going to be Alex Jones channel banned from YouTube and Facebook, Spotify, etc. I know I'm a little couple days late on this. Of course, wanted to weigh in. There's a lot that I had, but I'm limited for time. So, um, you guys can join in the chat. This can kind of be open forum too. I've been doing a lot of open forum Q&A. I planned on getting to some videos dealing with the redemption education later. Still working on some things because it's been a minute since I've done the screen capture. Just to give you guys a heads up, but I wanted to talk about this video. Of course, Alex Jones, why he, in my opinion, he was being purged. Saw a lot of content creators that I'm subscribed to that have really big channels, and I heard some of them are saying that they feel they're going to be next. And I was shocked. I even heard some people that don't necessarily agree with Alex Jones. Saw a lot of comments of people and a particular big, large content creator that said they felt it's not right. And what is this going to lead to? So I wonder if you guys are listening. Wait till you guys join me. I wanted to get you all's feedback, what you think, um, about this particular topic, and because this could affect definitely other content creators. I've been seeing this for a while. There are other platforms you can go to. You have Gab, Minds.com. I hear Twitch is getting big, it's blowing up. You have BitChute. Here, this one guy's channel I don't know too much about, Sargon of Akkad, a friend of mine, because I have people out there that give me intel and tell me different things. He said he's like part of that platform. They have other web hosting platforms out there. Mike Adams, the health ranger, even just launched one, I believe, called Real Video or something. I have to look it up because there's a lot to keep track out there. I think Periscope might be owned by some of the same people that are controlled or own Google, so I'm not really sure. It's like one of those low key ones, but they still are around where you can do live stream. I think Periscope might have a version where you have to pay for it. There's so many to think of. So I went over Gab, Minds.com. There's already a lot of content creators that's already moved over. Twitch was like a video for video gamers, big gamers. And I hear that because they heard about the purge months ago, even last year, that they were welcoming new traffic over there, new content creators to basically join their platform and kind of have a chance to go live. And I noticed some significant size YouTubers, without saying the names, have brought a portion of their audience over there. And then Steemit has one called, it's like connected to Steemit. It's called DTube. Very maybe like a lower budget of YouTube, but it wasn't bad. Kind of modeled after YouTube. It was called DTube. DTube. And it's connected to Steemit. And Steemit is like connected to the cryptocurrency, which I hear from some people down there that will help actually protect content creators and these web hosting platforms, because of the blockchain technology can apply in ways I'm not really an expert in this category, but as far as cryptography or, making it more difficult for big super conglomerate corporations to remove or censor these other large platforms, because clearly the YouTube is no longer the you about you anymore. In YouTube, they've allowed Hollywood, fake news organizations, lamestream media to come in and take over, and they're force feeding. Like Mark Dice's channel, I hear has like way more subscribers than even CNN. And I was really surprised when I heard that they're actually force feeding on CNN. Okay, I see someone, first person in the chat, DeCarla Kyle Bay. Big shout out to you, DeCarla. What's up? Fam down in Texas. Big shout out to Texas. Shalom, Dorsey. Shalom back. Greetings to you. How can I say also Hotep in Arabic, they say mahaba. That means welcome. So I'm universal with the greetings. Thank you for joining. You guys want to weigh in, or anyone out there that's watching? I know this is kind of late. I wanted to do this earlier, or whatnot. So she says in the chat, catching you before I pass out. Yeah, I understand. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Once again, big shout out to Texas. I have a lot of subscribers down in Texas because YouTube actually shows you the demographics of where your audience is coming from. But this video, I didn't want to get too far off track. I wanted to give my weigh in. I took a few notes why they banned the Alex Jones channel. I don't think it's a coincidence. This is like right before the midterm elections, and there's primaries that started Tuesday. We're finishing up, I know, here in Michigan or whatever. And I wanted to reference Pastor Lindsey Williams a while ago. I know many of you all out there know about him. He, make a long story short, you can look up who he is on YouTube, but he has a biography. I encourage everyone, please look him up. But he talked about there is an Illuminati. I like to some people refer to as the globalists. I prefer the name the ruling class elite. He stated he lived with them at the Alaskan pipeline, and why this information is critical to Alex Jones. He used to be a frequent guest on his program some years back, I noticed. And in a particular broadcast that he had with Alex, he said, the elites, they know who you are, Alex. And I said, whoa, wow. I said, so they know who he is. And he said, before he could finish, Alex cut in or whatever. Lindsey was trying to warn him or whatnot, but I'm pretty sure Alex was aware. So I think that this mainly has a lot of influence because Alex Jones is a big supporter of Trump and the powers that be that run the deep state that don't like how Alex is reported on real information. I've learned a lot from Alex Jones. I want to say big shout out to Alex and his crew. Thank you tremendously. I wanted to go into more detail because I know there's some people out there that don't like him. I even saw people put in the comment section from other YouTube subscribers that talked about him being banned, even shadow banned prior to this, and why YouTube some months back had just removed 3 strikes but didn't really explain the reason why. So you know that this is politically motivated. I won't go into the details, but you all know you can read between the lines. And they said it's not right that this censorship is like, this is a violation of freedom of speech. This is torturous interference when you have another major media organization trying to get another organization shut down. That's what CNN and other mainstream media organizations that were calling for InfoWars to be shut down. That is torturous interference. I do hear that there are lawsuits going on behind the scenes, not just with Alex Jones, but I even heard that Prager University was in a lawsuit with YouTube, and there's like some other people out there. I don't know too much of the details surrounding behind that, because sometimes in these cases, lawyers, they have like gag orders and stuff like that where you can't talk about it until after the case or everything is settled. But best believe that this is a violation of freedom of speech, because in my opinion, I've seen a lot of different channels use profanity on YouTube, like in a lot of their videos where they're cursing and seeing very graphic content, and that's still on YouTube. That's not banned at all. So just something to think about as well. Why is that the case? But I know Alex is on other platforms. Twitter, I noticed, was the only one that actually said he didn't violate the rules or whatever. I'm pretty surprised. There were still hardcore leftists and minions trying to get him banned on Twitter and saying, why isn't he removed or whatnot. So DeCarla says, just jumped in the chat. Oh, wow, YouTube have been doing shady stuff even to some of the beauty channels. Shake my head. Yeah, everybody, when this big ban happened either last year or actually censorship was going on before the 2016 election. But you're right, DeCarla. I even heard that because I follow a lot of different channels, even in my downtime if I'm not watching regular TV or whatever. Because you can't always be into this so-called conspiracy stuff. You got to settle down. So I do. There's a couple sisters I follow. One is into beauty, glam. I think it's her name, Jayla, which she also calls herself Glam. I'm not sure, Glam Queen. I follow her channel. She's friends with Missy Lynn, based down in Dallas. I follow both of their channels. I love their content. Believe it or not, I don't really comment, but that's the lady stuff. It just helps me stay abreast of what's going on out here or whatnot. I pay attention. I do read articles from mainstream so I can compare notes, but this is not good for alternative media to be for, because Alex Jones' channel was very big. So some people say because he was really a large channel, has influence over a lot of people, that they want to target him first before they start targeting other people on down in the pecking order. That could be true. I don't know or whatnot exactly. See someone else in the chat, Orion Miller. So what did Illuminati accuse him of? Yeah, that's a good point, Orion. A lot of people ask that question too. Like they didn't specifically state. I was just watching ABL's channel, Anthony Brian Logan. That's what that stands for. Real Good Brother Breaks, has very good commentary. He mentioned that they didn't really state because YouTube can be kind of vague, and other content creators that are even Democrats, they were censoring when they had this big demonetization thing going on, where certain corporations or individuals out there were complaining that ads were running across content that was more profane, in my opinion, than even AJ's channel. But yeah, he shut down. I think it has to do with the narrative that he's promoting. They don't want him influencing the election because he was a big Trump supporter. And I think, in my opinion, a friend of mine stated that the ruling class elite put Trump in power. And I said, no, that's not true. I believe, in my opinion, that you do have anomalies, but the people voted him in. There was no Russian collusion. They still have statistics on which demographics voted for. They're trying to claim it was Russian bots and this, that, and the other. I probably would have to do a whole separate video. There's evidence, and Trump was cleared from the Intelligence Committee, House Intelligence Committee, I believe, but there's another faction of the government that is corrupt. So there's like a infighting going on. They call that mutiny within our government. There's like the cabal members, evil people within our government. Then there's the good people that are for honest justice being served, and there's a clash. So Trump was actually cleared that believe it or not, he was not colluding with the Soviet Union. Give me a break, that he was a spy working for them, and they helped him win the election. Our Central Intelligence Agency's information actually has influence over their elections because the intelligence agencies around the world are connected. Like the Russians are the KGB, MI5, MI6. That's like in the UK, United Kingdom. That's like what the James Bond movies are based off of. Maybe like Mission Impossible. The Israeli Mossad, that's the intelligence agency for that region of the world. And there is a connection. So Trump was actually being spied on. I won't get into that. That's what that dossier file they had with this whole Pfizer thing, where they didn't have a legitimate warrant, where Obama ordered them certain individuals, admitted by James Clapper, who was on CNN. And I think James Clapper, I'm not sure exactly, don't quote me on it. He was former national security or whatnot, and he said it was basically Obama's idea. So he came out indirectly and said, Obama was the one that ordered the whole Pfizer thing. So I don't have all my notes with me on that. But another thing, the mainstream media, or so-called mainstream media, the reason why, in my opinion, they don't want, or they didn't like Alex Jones, and they were lobbying to have him banned off of the bigger, networks, or so-called mainstream networks that used to be about you, like on Facebook, which is no longer about your face taking photos. Once they become super big, the small guys, people built those platforms up. Like YouTube, think of the name YouTube. It's no longer about you anymore. It's about Hollywood. And notice they're force feeding Tonight shows and stuff now, and different platforms that were on regular TV or cable networks. A lot of money is poured in, and they're actually paying these groups money, believe it or not. So they don't like the fact, in my opinion, that he's reporting, I say, on more accurate information, and he'll touch on subjects and topics that they won't touch on too. Despite his theatrics and stuff, this is an honest opinion, and this is coming from a bipartisan perspective. I'm being impartial, even though I feel, in my opinion, I'm not a registered voter. This is to show evidence. I'm a researcher. I'm very intelligent. I have, information. I would probably have to save a separate video on why I'm not a registered voter. I have a legitimate reason. I attended an elite event some years ago. No, I'm not making this up. I do have evidence. There's legal reasons. There's certain contracts I do not enter into. Some of you all that know me personally that are on here or met me before know the reason why, and I encourage some other people in my inner circle. But if you are, in the public, I encourage you, make your voice heard, whatever side you're on. But my information is accurate. I do the research. I research between reading the mainstream articles, even local news. I've subscribed to WXYZ.com. I have them bookmarked to my website that's locally here in Detroit. They're owned by Scripps Howard through ABC, and ABC is under Disney. Like, Disney is one of the big four super conglomerates. I think Time Warner is another one. Viacom. I think Viacom, I'm not sure if they were bought out by, there's a company like Google's parent company, Alphabet. I'm not sure if they're above Viacom, if they're still around. And you have Reuters, and there may be a couple other ones I'm missing, but it's like four super conglomerate media organizations, and they want to control the narrative. They want to force feed, and they want to brainwash and program the general public. And since Alex Jones talks about things that are outside of the box, known as outside of the mind, out of sight, out of mind. That's the saying I'm looking for. They don't want that, and it even got so bad that they're trying to frame him. And I know what he said, like, he can be theatrical at times and use sarcasm. I always thought some years ago that sarcasm is not good. I think I always thought they were going to use that against him because, being from, different cultures and things, some other people cannot relate to if you don't keep like the information level headed. But I know that's not his style. I wasn't offended by the things he says because I can interpret it in different things and not be offended, but I can understand why people from other cultures or groups, but the way he's trying to articulate things. But mind you, when he's branded a certain way, people form an opinion about someone before they've even researched them. And mind you, I've watched his show for a number of years. I had a friend some years ago I used to work in security with. Found out, I didn't know this originally, I found this out years later. He had a high-level secret security clearance. I won't say out of which branch of the military, but he showed me this documentary that Alex Jones produced some years ago on Bohemian Grove, and I was stunned. I was like, wow, he snuck into this place. It's like this retreat they have every summer somewhere out in California, similar to like the Bilderberg, but it's another thing where they do like an actual ritual where all these men, meet and worship like this big giant owl or whatever. Like that. I won't get into that. So I was stunned. So a friend of mine was really into him, but years later, he stopped liking Alex Jones, but I still continued to watch his show. He said when he had certain guests on there, he would watch them or whatever, like Wayne Madsen, because Jones has had like high-level people like former military, some current whistleblowers. I heard some years ago, I don't know, there was one particular sergeant who was on his show. I forget his name. Specifically, he sounded like a black guy. I'm trying to think of his name, but that was a long time ago. I can't, some things have happened to some people too that have come on his show as well. Like there was a lady named the DC Madam. She was like a prostitute for high clientele politicians, and she was murdered. It's believed to be, they said she committed suicide. There was a lady named Nancy Schaefer out of the Georgia area who was exposing human trafficking and how Child Protective Services was involved. She was due to come on his show again. She had already come on there, and the following week she was due to come on his show. About a week before, her and her husband were found murdered. You can look this up. It's very sad. So there's people that don't want this out, and I commend Alex Jones for having the courage and the strength to reach out to people because he's exposed the drug trafficking, how he, under Obama's administration, actually started with these children at these Walmarts. That's why they were closing these Walmarts down way before Trump got into office, where families were being separated. And there's even online, you can look up the facts. They say Obama deported over 2 million, way more illegal immigrants than Trump has so far. That's a fact. And families were being separated, and they were, as they were trying to escape through Texas. I saw footage where Alex Jones sent in one of his reporters that used to work for him named Jakari Jackson to one of these facilities where they were trying to keep it secretive. or whatever. They were trying to cover it up, but since they're trying to brand Trump as this big bad boogeyman, an evil sexual predator, because he mentioned that word when he got in office. They wanted to leak that tape out when he said, "Grab him by the you know what." I won't repeat it, but Trump, wouldn't be surprised if Ginger Daniel really happened. But in comparison to the scandals that Obama and Hillary have had, Jones has helped a lot of people connect the dots. How it's private investigators. Like, I found out Hillary Clinton is the one that originated the birther thing when she was running against Obama back in 2008, and leading up from the primaries into the main election. I found out her and John McCain's camp paid for private investigators to look up the information about Obama being born in Kenya. They classified their documents. That's why they also classified her passport, because it became damning information. Also, with Obama and Rahm Emanuel belonging to a gay bath club in Chicago, they classified that information where they removed Rahm Emanuel and Barack Obama's membership. This was a private investigator who used to work for the National Security Agency, Wayne Madsen, exposed. So InfoWars, this is how Alex Jones has accurate information. Some of this stuff I haven't never talked about or mentioned, because as you can see, this is dangerous. But as I've broken down to friends and people, this is how there's solid evidence, because these are credible people. I know there's people that are loved ones, people I know that voted for Hillary Clinton and think that she's a guardian angel and that she wasn't tied in with this Pizzagate, or how they kidnapped these children with Hollywood. And it's all come out. The evidence, NYPD police were going to release a press conference, but they were threatened by the attorney general at the time, Loretta Lynch, who said she was going to use the Eric Gardner situation to prosecute certain officers or whatever. They were going to trump something up. So they turned the laptop over to the DC police. That's why Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was, I guess, the head of the DNC at the time, that stands for Democratic National Convention or Committee, wanted the laptop back from the DC police chief. Like, she tried to threaten him, and he was basically like, no, this is police property. They were trying to get the word out. But see, this is the length that these Democrats have gone to, the progressives, how wicked they are. And they're the main ones that are calling for censorship. This is a form of communism. This is a violation of the First Amendment, freedom of speech. This is also torturous interference. And this is why they want to brainwash the general public with CNN, MSNBC with Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow. They want a virtue signal, like with LeBron James. I've come to find out they made it seem like that school belongs to him, but I hear you can look up, there's documents that he only is there's a partnership he has with the school district down there, where they couldn't even use his name. That's why they couldn't name it LeBron James. They had to be called I Promise, whatever, because it's a partnership, and it's a big tax write-off for him, big tax write-off, because they mentioned on the radio. I listened to some rap music R&B station years ago in Detroit, WJOB, and they mentioned how Jada Pinkett and Will Smith had donated to the Church of Scientology and also a school in Philadelphia, and there was a big tax write-off for them. So they're making this seem like what LeBron James brings Trump up, that's called virtue signaling, where they basically he's trying to put himself on a high horse, when Trump has been a philanthropist. Trump donated $1 million to Hurricane Harvey. He even gave a soldier that died. I never heard of any presidents that sent the check to a soldier in the military who fought and died, sent the check to the family, the lady or wife or whatever. You can look this story up. Thought it wasn't coming. Trump kept his word. I don't even know if Obama did anything like that. From what I hear, Obama and Hillary Clinton cannot stand. They actually hate our military and police officers and law enforcement. I'm not saying they're perfect. You have their flaws. And years ago, Henry Kissinger and Ted Turner were quoted calling military veterans and soldiers dogs. That's on record, that they refer to them as dogs, animals, because they're an elite class. If you know of Henry Kissinger and Ted Turner. So this is really sad. Hold on for a second. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. I'm gonna go back to the chat. Once again, I was breaking stuff down. Says the elites will take down any and all who become an immediate and present threat to them. So it's not a surprise they shut him down. Yeah, you're correct, Orion Miller. I don't even know Alex Jones and see why they did that. Yeah, it's obvious. This is a move, and if you ever heard of countries, I think capitalism isn't perfect. So I was listening to this rapper who is involved in politics sometimes, as many of you all may know him as Killer Mike. He did an interview with Coleon Noor with NRA TV, and after the interview, he was attacked by the left. That's when they were pushing this whole propaganda after that school shooting down in Florida, I guess Parkland or whatever, and he was giving his opinion. He said, we're a gun-owning family, and they put pressure on Killer Mike to basically not to tone it down or whatever, like a threat. But I'm not as big as him. I'm not, plus I'm coming from a fair balanced perspective because I'm not a registered voter and I have legitimate reasons why I'm not. I won't go into the details right now. Like I said, to reiterate from earlier, some of you all who know me know the reason why, and I have encouraged others. It's very dangerous. It's some information that I have, and I attended this event some years ago. I'm not making this up once again, of these elite people. There is a ruling class elite. Please look up Pastor Lindsey Williams. Look at all his videos if you can, and look up on YouTube. He has a documentary called Secrets of the Elite. Check out Pastor Lindsey Williams' Secrets of the Elite. That's a must-see if you haven't saw that yet. It will confirm what I'm going over and why different things, why they shut Alex Jones down or whatnot. So I agree with the Orion Miller. Another thing I forgot. I normally give a disclaimer. So keep in mind, this video is for informational, educational purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her own homework and research into this matter being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. In the event you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged that you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource, these are simply my opinions based on research that I've done. And with that said, all rights are reserved. Back to the chat, Orion Miller, they're trying to regain control and force public-based platforms because it's a present danger to their brainwash monopoly game. Yes, absolutely on point. They want to brainwash people. They want to have a monopoly where, just like with the public food system, there was a lot of people, even here in Michigan, were fighting against Common Core. Now, did you know Bill Gates, I found out, I didn't even know he had children, but I found out a year or two ago he had children, and the school his children goes to says they're exempt from Common Core. Mighty funny. Why are they exempt? And I was a news lady person here that worked for Channel 7, WXYZ. I saw a story on when they wanted to repeal Common Core, but I was speaking with another individual that the educational system is like a mafia, the conglomerate. I don't know if the new lady that's in charge, that's connected with Trump, if she's for or against. I think she's maybe against Common Core, but it's dangerous because I hear Common Core was based off of foreign or European system, and a lot of parents I heard spent a long time trying to help their children with homework and stuff. I don't have any children personally. I would have liked to by now, but I may not with this agenda that these ruling class elites are pushing, and they do exist. I'm not trying to spook you all or scare you either. I want to say that when I talk about the Illuminati, the globalists, who I like to refer in a more proper term, the ruling class elite, and they do exist. That's who I'm referring to, and I'm not trying to spook you or scare you. I'm just going over stuff that I've researched and empowering you all. There are books out there. Look up Bloodlines of the Illuminati by Fritz Springmeier. Mark Dice wrote a book. Look it up on Amazon or Google or Yahoo. It called Big Brother. He's got some other books, but that's the book I have. That book called Big Brother will help you explain how they're using social media to also profile people and still get information from them. Because a lot of this stuff is illegal. Like I saw locally here on the news some years ago that the Operation Prism, the secret program that the NSA was using to spy on Americans, is unconstitutional. But why are they getting away with this? So their public awareness needs to be spread. People need to file class action lawsuits, because there was some other information I was going to get into. So I'm going to go back to the chat. DeCarla says, yes, you speak of nothing but truth and facts. Thank you for confirming, DeCarla. Much appreciated for paying attention, staying woke out there. I did see the movie Get Out. Stay woke. You know, this thing is really deep. It's deeper than just race, too, because look up the Georgia Guidestones, where these ruling class elites some years ago wrote they want to reduce the world's population down below, I think, 500,000, or is it 500 million? But if it's a population of about 8 billion people on the planet, or 6 to 8 billion, just the estimate, and they want to reduce it down to 500 million, that means a lot of people got to go. It's just something to think about with all the different groups that fight amongst each other. Some people here on YouTube, there's this one sister's channel I listen to. She tries to use the conspiracy or this information known as conspiracy theory and tries to apply it to black nationalism. And it's deeper than that. It's not a black, you know, you do have different divisions and people do have their issues and problems. And that's something we have to work on as a society, you know. But with the ruling class, really, it's about, you know, when you're in a higher bracket, you're in a different category. Like, for example, with LeBron James, I mentioned earlier, his children, even Beyonce, Jay-Z, even Kanye West, their children are not going to have to grow up and live the same type of life that people in the hood or ghettos live. Just for example, think of any rich children or prominent Hollywood actors and their children, and they claim to relate to you specifically. There's things they can relate to, but mind you, when stuff hits the fan, they'll have a VIP limo or helicopter. Like Mark Zuckerberg, I hear, has a helipad at one of his houses or properties showing up to fly them to an underground facility to be protected with armed security. But they want to ban your guns. They want, while you're in the hood, people trying to attack you or kill you for your food or vandalize or do whatever. These people, LeBron James, one of his houses that was vandalized, I noticed some years ago, where somebody spray painted the N-word on there. And they say a lot of these things, I don't know what the follow-up, if the police caught whoever did that. They say some of this stuff could be inside job, but I noticed his house was surrounded by a wall. So they complained about Trump wanting to build a wall. It's not like these Hollywood people really necessarily have your back. They also are trying to get votes. They're not trying to hurt their brand, their image. So they're not going to really tell you what you need to hear. That's a form of virtue signaling as well. But I'm right in the hood. I see what goes on firsthand. That's a different situation. Going back to the chat, Orion Miller says, I met a 32nd degree Master Mason, and he did confirm that the Illuminati exists, and that even working with Freemasons, they are obscure to them, and even to the Shriners. Yes, there's different levels. I mentioned in one of my previous videos where I kind of went over the pecking order, that even all the fraternities and sororities link up under the craft, which the craft is another word. I was speaking with the Prince Hall Freemason some years ago, and that's the term that they use to, instead of mentioning I'm a Mason or Freemason, they'll say craft. There's certain code words, language that I picked up on because I was going to go through initiation some years ago. I didn't go through official initiation, but I was given a rite of passage because I have a relative that's one, and I was inquiring, doing deep research, which many other people have, because I wanted to know the truth. I was inquisitive. I'm like, before I join something, I want to thoroughly know what it's about. And I discovered is much, much deeper than what people can perceive. And this doesn't mean everybody who's part of these organizations are evil. Some people don't know because they're at the bottom, but there are organizations that are at the top that are higher up in the pecking order, a hierarchy system. Like I noticed you mentioned Shriners are supposedly rank above Freemasons. And you have other groups like the Council on Foreign Relations Organization, Trilateral Commission, Bilderberg. There's other secret societies, and you have some for the women, the females, the Eastern Star. Then you have secret organizations above that, like the Sisters of Light, I heard, or whatever, or Sisters of Osiris. You have different chapters too, as well. See, someone, DeCarla says in the chat, I'm an inactive Eastern Star, and yes, they call it the craft. Thank you for confirming. DeCarlo, I didn't want to put you out there. I remember when you shared that with me when we were speaking some time ago. And I've spoken to other people. You're not the only one, because when I was going through initiation process some years ago, I met a most worshipful master who was over a lodge. This was back in 2006. And he told me, you know, there used to be serious penalties where they said they would cut your throat or cut your finger or whatever. But he said that they can't stop it because now they put things in the books and on the internet. He told me this was back in 06. He said there's books that you can buy. He said it's out there, it's public information. They can't stop. They even put it in movies. Like there's a movie that came out some years ago with the actor Vin Rhames called Rosewood. And in the early beginning part of the movie, the guy had a Masonic ring. He went up to the door where he asked the guy, "Are you a traveling man?" That's a code term, you know, are you a Mason or are you a widow's son or whatever. That deals with asking like another fellow brother if you suspect they're a member. And then when someone was asking me, this brother I knew years ago, and he got scared, but I had to assure him, you know, I wasn't going to turn him in or nothing. We were cool. He asked me, he said, "Are you seeking light?" And I said, and I caught on to it. I didn't really get it. And he said, "Are you seeking light or enlighten?" And I said, "Enlightenment." And I said, you know, but I was like, I'm not going to, you know, I know who he is. I'm not going to say his name. So there's been other whistleblowers and people. Don't be afraid to share information, because I think some of you Masons even know, and they're trying to do something to stop this, like, and band together, because there's good groups out there that know that there's a level, the Bavarian Illuminati is real. They were started in 1776 by Adam Weishaupt. You can look that up. And that there's really deep, and there really is a ruling class. So I didn't want to get this deep on you. I see DeCarlo says back in the chat, those are called higher houses. Okay, and I see Orion Miller says in the chat, the Council of 300 or 100 is one. Yes, I've heard of them. A relative of mine had a book called The Committee of 300 some years ago. Someone also mentioned Media Man 24 in the chat, says, don't forget the Jesuits. Yes, because from what I understand, the Vatican is the religious arm of the world. The United Kingdom, also known as England, Great Britain, is the financial arm of the world. And Washington, D.C., United States, is the military arm of the world. And there's a connection. They all three form a trust. So this stuff is deep. Sometimes you have to belong to these organizations to get this information. But those of us, from the research that I've done and from watching, you know, InfoWars, Alex Jones, for example, what this video was about, I kind of got off track, helping connect the dots. This is why, in my opinion, they, you know, don't want this information out there. For example, DeCarlo says, I had some of the weirdest things happen. Got inboxes on Instagram from people claiming they are from the Illuminati, or claiming that from, yeah, I heard there were some scams too going on out here where people were claiming that. There's even a site, a website you can look up called Illuminati.org. And there's even a section of the site. I encourage everyone to go check out that site. And they have a list of names and faces of people, a lot of people on there I recognize, and document this. And they're trying to tell you on their site the same thing, but they're trying to, in an indirect way, say they are officially the Illuminati, and kind of in an indirect way, but they're saying, don't pay attention to other people claiming that they're the Illuminati. But look at the names of people on there. They're posing as philanthropists. I'm not going to say, but let you guys do your research. You know, look it up on Yahoo or Google. I'm not sure if it's .org, or I can't remember the website. I know if you type in Illuminati on Yahoo or Google, pull it up and document it, you know, do a screen capture. So in case, you know, as they're trying to censor the internet and remove this stuff, make sure you document this information in these videos. That's why they wanted to remove Alex Jones offline, and they took down all of his videos, all of the work they did. See, it's like burning the books like they did, I hear, in Nazi Germany before Hitler took over. I heard they burned the books because years ago in this movie called Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I asked a friend of mine, why did they burn the books? They showed in the movie some historical parts that tied in with Nazi Germany or whatever with Hitler. And they say right before totalitarians want to overthrow or take over society or turn a capitalist society and bring in socialism or communism, they want to burn the books and get rid of the information. I even heard at Berkeley University out in California, in the library, that they did the same thing. They burned some books. They even removed pages from books because they want to rewrite history. They don't want people knowing the actual truth and facts. What I'm going to get ready to shut things down in this chat. This was really about my opinion. I could come back and do a part 2. Don't know if YouTube will try to censor this video or shadow ban because I mentioned the name. So I might have to come back. But, go to Infowars.com. Alex Jones is sincere. I believe, in my opinion, he's had a lot of African-American guests on his show. And I know people, if he was really a racist, I know of people who are racist and they don't want to deal with black people at all. So I don't think, I think he has his views on things that are different culturally. However, I don't think he means well. He's just trying to warn people and wake them up. And we're not trying to spook you or scare you, but you have to have an open mind and think out of sight, out of mind. But there are lawsuits going on behind the scenes. I do hear he's suing. This was a violation of freedom of speech. This is torturous interference when one media organization is trying to lobby to have another organization shut down. And I just will keep him in my prayers. And as well as other YouTubers, this could possibly happen to. This could be a warning. I heard Tariq Nasheed said this could even be, a warning. He said for black YouTubers, there was even concern on his part, even though he doesn't share the same views or whatever. So this is concerning to some people, very, very concerning. Where are we headed? That something big might be happening too, but they may be planning something. So just watch your 6. Keep your third eye out. I want to thank you guys for joining me. You can follow me on Facebook at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource and on YouTube at Dorsey's Resource. Down the line, I am looking to maybe move to other platforms.